different, actually. I mean, as you say, I mean, I think most places bring everyone together in one big production. But the thing is, we are focused on drama. We don't really do much singing, if any, or dance. We don't do dancing in this particular class. So it's very much both groups doing kind of their own performances. If it was musical theatre, I think probably bringing them together would be probably the best way, because then you get that kind of big show aspect of it. But especially with the middle ones, they are short plays, so each play might have 5 or 6 characters in, and we've got 14 students in the middle ones now, so it's kind of two groups really doing 2 different plays within that one class. So the parents love it because they get to come
Can
see.
you help children who, I mean, because I know that a lot of the advertising agencies and things like that, they want child actors, don't they? Can you help in that sort of way?
We do get quite a lot of inquiries about that kind of stuff from various TV, film, modelling kind of casting directors, all that kind of stuff. So we don't run an agency ourselves, but we do pass on all this information and suggest students to the parents, for example, if we think they suit. Sometimes they don't suit at all. Sometimes we get kind of very, very obscure castings come in and we think, well, we don't have anyone who fits that brief. But yeah, we do our best to try and get the students some opportunities outside the class as well.
That used to be a nightmare. When I was in advertising, we did the Jelly Tots commercials, and the agency was Garland Compton, which became Saatchi & Saatchi, of course, and we'd have hundreds of kids just running amok in the building. It was an absolute nightmare when it was casting. But there we go.
James, get rid of the myth, will you? Because I know that a lot of people, when they look at some of these trade magazines, and they say earn £250 a day as an extra, just send 50 quid on a photograph, and
cons.
It's a total and utter waste of time and money, isn't it?
What, being an extra? And
well, no, not being
the adverts you see for
the adverts that you see for it.
Completely. I mean, I think it depends on the circumstance. Unfortunately, there are quite a lot of places out there that take advantage. Quite a lot. For example, you might find I don't know about kind of trade magazines and outside, kind of in adverts, but you will find a lot that production companies will get in touch and say, we want you to be a featured artist. Now, a featured artist, by the term featured, means you're featured in the film or television program, but actually what they really mean is you're going to be an extra, and that's quite I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes you are a featured artist, but you find it quite a lot that you then get paid to be just a background artist, which I'm not saying, a lot of people make a huge amount of money from being background artists, but if you're an actor trying to get those roles in TV programs, film programs, as you kind of don't want, if you want to be able to, you want to be told straight away if you're going to be an extra, not a featured artist. So I think
false promises.
Yeah, well, exactly. But also, as you're saying, things like that where you say you could do £250 a day. God, there's so much online, actually. You'll find that a lot. There are companies out there that make promises, especially in the voiceover world, that are very, very false. And they're kind of... We've actually got a group on Facebook that all the voiceovers come together. And the amount of times you see people posting saying, avoid this, because you see it and you think, how can people... And I can understand it, because people... It's that kind of advert now where someone says, you could be a voiceover artist. You can make thousands of pounds a week. And you go, actually, well, it's not just about having a good voice. It's about knowing what's behind the text. It's knowing about what the characters could be like.
Lifting words from paper.
That's it, yeah. Making it, and at the end of the day, I think, yes, you can get you can get training and become a very good voiceover artist, but advertising that straight away, saying you could sign up today and get £1,000 of work, I don't think so. And a lot of voiceover world don't believe that. So I think you're right. I think it depends on what it is, but a lot of the time these false promises probably are false promises.
I suppose it's true to say as well that really in any of this sort of artistic world, you need a good agent, because the agent is the one who actually performs, goes out and gets the job for you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You don't stand a lot of chance yourself as a jobbing actor, because jobbing actors don't walk around with a placard on their shoulder saying, I want to be in next week's edition of Casualty or appear on Emmerdale or whatever, but it's the agents who know what the TV and film companies want, and then they'll come back and say, do you have etc., and then they will have, hopefully, on their books, and then approach the artist.
I think a big part of it is, I mean, having an agent is a great help. Not only for getting the actual job side of things, getting the jobs, getting the auditions, protecting you from things like I was just explaining about voiceover stuff. The amount of time when I first got my voiceover agent, before that I was doing quite a few small time voiceover jobs from online P2P sites, so like voices.com for example. But then when I signed up with Selena, my voiceover agent, something came in, and I think it was £250 for an hour. Now you think £250 for an hour of voiceover work, that sounds great, but it was a commercial. And she said to me, well, actually, when you think about it, you know, that advert, that means you might not be able to, if it's a pizza advert, for example, you might not be able to do another pizza advert for the next 3 years. So £250 sounds great, but then that's £250 across 3 years that you might not be able to do a big time pizza advert.
Exactly right, yeah.
So, you know, at the end of the day, I think they're there not only to get you a job and try and get you into the industry, but also to protect you from things like that, where people are taking advantage of you as an actor, as a voiceover artist. But also, I think you've got to take your own career in many respects. You know, writing to people. If you go and see a show in London, for example, or Milton Keynes Theatre, and you think, oh, you know what, that was great. I really like that play. I really like the direction. Then find out who the casting director is. Find out who the director is. Write to them and say, I'm so and so. I saw your play the other day. I just wanted to say I thought it was a really fantastic production. Really loved this. Really loved that. I'd love to be able to work with you on a project in the future. Here's my details. Look forward to hearing from you. That's it. And then you've made that contact, and they may well reply. And sometimes they don't. They're too busy, but sometimes they do. And say, you know, thanks for it. We'll keep you on tap, which happens a lot. So I think it's a mixture of you working with your agent.
So you can actually do that, and you sort of get your own CV together, as it were.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you do have to be careful. You don't want to be doing free stuff necessarily, because it's at the end of the day you are. The example everyone uses is, you know, would you expect a plumber to come in and do your pipe work for free? No. Therefore, you shouldn't really expect an actor to come in and spend their time doing your job for free as well. But you can build up quite a good CV without an agent. You know, especially fringe theatre is obviously a big thing. Making your own work, taking up things to the fringe in Edinburgh and in London as well. Off West End theatres are great for, you know, getting those. Just even that small little part. You don't know who you might meet. You might meet another director. Someone might be in the audience saying, actually, I like them. I want them in my next production. So it swings around about something.
Have you done these?
Well, fringe productions, yeah. So I did, right before because I did a 1 year course at Drama Centre. And then in between that 1 year course and my 3 year degree at Conti, I took up a show to the Edinburgh Fringe with a whole load of the students from Drama Centre, which we did for a week, which was great fun. And then 2 years after at Conti, we actually raised £13,000 as a year and took up 2 shows to the Edinburgh Fringe, which was really, really, I mean, it was called Two, and it was 14, supposed to be 2 actors playing 14 parts, but we all, because there were 14 of us, we all played the different parts. And it's set in Yorkshire, in a pub, and it's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
You sound, I mean, you have tremendous enthusiasm, and you sound really happy in what you're doing. So this obviously must transpose down to the children as well, the students that you take. You know? Yeah,
I think that's the only reason I do it, to be completely honest with you. I was quite aware when I was doing my training, you know, even from when I was a kid, actually, I used to have a local group. I used to live in Dorking, in Surrey. Had a little group called TAPS, which was run by a local amateur dramatic society, and it was so cheap. It was, I can't remember what it was now. It was like £5 a week, let's say. But it was run by a local actress, and it was great. And we had all those opportunities. But then that unfortunately closed down when I left town, and I just realised during my training, there's so many. I think there's so many kids that probably want to do drama but might not have that opportunity because of the expense, because I know it can be very expensive, you know, having to join a drama class. And I thought, you know what, I think I can do this. I think I can somehow work out a way to balance the costs involved for doing it, making sure that the students, the parents, don't have a huge hefty cost that they have to pay in advance of the term, which is why I thought, well, why don't we work with local businesses? Why don't we try and get that sponsorship in to make sure that the cost is low? And Newport Pagnell, we are, for the young ones class, it's £4.60 a session. We don't charge termly, we don't charge half-termly. Parents have the option to pay monthly or weekly via direct debit, which gives them complete flexibility. It means that they don't have to go, actually, no, I've got to fork out a huge amount of money. It's not even a huge amount of money, but that amount by itself could mean that kid might not join. Mm-hmm. So that's why I started the whole thing, because I thought, you know what, I want to be able to pass on this kind of love for acting, this love for theatre down to the younger generations, but making sure that kids that might not have the opportunity have that opportunity.
Now, I have a tremendous admiration for actors and actresses, because it's one of those things that I couldn't do. I could never go on a stage and be somebody else.
Why not?
And yet, for 40-odd years, I've sat behind microphones all around the world, so which is a totally different thing, obviously, because you cannot see your audience.
Yeah.
And it's I can be me, and that's it. I don't have to take the reaction from the audience. But one of the things that I do admire is that does that feeling in the back of your mind ever come to the fore? The fact that there are hundreds, nay thousands, of very, very professional and good actors and actresses who don't have a job.
Yeah.
Because it's such a precarious profession, isn't it, really? Because you can make it, obviously. And again, I mean, those people that go on to the soaps, for instance, the Ken Roaches of the world, who've been there forever. And, he's a very old man now.
You mean Ken Barlow? What's it, Roach? Not Ken Roach, is it? Bill Roach.
Bill Roach, Ken Barlow, and he couldn't be anybody else. He couldn't appear in somewhere else. And I personally have one of those frustrations now and I don't watch a lot of television, but you see an actor or actress on Casualty or one, and then the next thing you know, they're in another play, or documentary drama, and you go, I know them, and it's all sort of wrong. I don't know, and yet there are hundreds. If you went across the board for television, you could probably say, I don't know, there's probably 50 of them on during the week, but then it's 50. I mean, how many does the drama school in London turn out every year? Many more than 50.
Well, there's I think there's 21. If I might be wrong on this, I think there's 21 accredited drama schools in the UK at the moment. Yeah. And Bristol Old Vic's a bit of a special one. It takes 16 students, but let's just say that most of them take just under 30, roughly about 27, and so you've got 21 of them, and that's every year. So if you think about it on that front, that's a huge amount of actors coming out into the industry every single year. A lot
of resting actors.
Yeah, I know. It is a big thing, and you're made very aware of it when you go to drama school. Some drama schools get 3,000 applicants every year for the degree, let alone the actual acting job. And you think, right, and the other thing to say is drama school isn't the be all or end all of being an actor. So many actors out there. Tom Hollander, big example, he never went to drama school. He tried, he never got in. But now he's doing all sorts of stuff, and you think, well, actually, it's not, that hugely important necessarily, depending on who you are. Some people, like me, I just thought, I need to go to drama school. That's what I need to do. I need that training. But some people, especially if you've done TV film work in your younger years as a kid, you get that, you kind of train on the job. So no, it's very much a thing that's always in the back of your head. You think, right, well, actually, when you go to audition, you think there's a lot of people who are going for this role.
On the other side of the coin, of course, there's a lot of theatres around the country now, aren't there, where actors they get work, don't they? Obviously, because they have to entertain the public. So there is that good side of it as well. How do you find technology's helped or hindered?
I think it's done both, actually. I think in many respects it's great, because now for example, we have something called Mandy.com, which used to be called Casting Call Pro, which is kind of just a network for casting directors, for directors to post and say, I need a 25 to 30-year-old to play this role for this film. It's going to be this much, and then you apply, and then you go to audition. Now, that's great. But you do have a lot of people who go on there, because the other thing is to say is you can go on there and you don't have to show in any shape or form that you are a real director. And that sounds ridiculous, but technically Joe Bloggs could go on there, sign up for an account, and then post saying, I'm doing a huge film, price will be agreed on contract, all that kind of stuff. And then you might waste all your